In this video, I'm going to tear down my Wolverine film scanner. We're going to take a look at what's inside this thing and see how well it's built. And I'm going to surprise a few people that think they know what's in here, and I guarantee you that they don't. So we had a look at the Wolverine film scanner there the other day, and I think we all want to see how this thing is made. Now, this is actually a metal cabinet, right? People might think it's cheap plastic, but this is actually metal. This part's plastic. That part's plastic. This is metal. Where's the film gate? The film gate in here it's got plastic, but it's got metal pieces here where it matters in the actual gate that moves the film. But I want to see how this thing's built, and I know you guys want to see how it's built as well. So let's just pop this thing apart and see what makes this thing tick. Notice that these are metal screws because it's going into metal. Okay, here's the internal workings of this thing. This is from my take-up spool. Let's take a peek at this unit. Okay, so what do we see here? This is all metal. This back piece here, of course, that piece is plastic, but that's not the business end. This is the business end. Let's take a closer look at this thing. You know, here's another one to the idiot that said, "Oh, this thing's a piece of junk. You're going to be changing the belts in this thing." Really? I'm going to be changing the belts in this thing. Well, I got news for you. But there's no belts in this thing. It's all direct drive. Okay, this is the take-up spool motor, which turns the take-up spool. It's a little motor that turns a gear. Lots of lubricant on this gear too. Got a couple plastic gears, but this is the direct drive. And there's a slip clutch here, right? You can see that I can turn this. There's a slip clutch here. It's got pretty good resistance, but it's a direct drive from the motor. Okay, here's the motor that operates the film, advances the film. As you can see, it's a high quality stepper motor. This is not cheap Chinese plastic garbage. This is actually built some pretty good quality. It's got a little fan on here to keep the processor cool. You notice there's a fan right over here to cool down the processor. Here's our custom circuit boards in here. And of course the camera is at the front. You can see the camera there, which is basically, it's just a microscope is what it is, right? It's a microscope camera. It's a 3 megapixel, standard camera that delivers a 1080p picture. And I'm not going to tear this down any more than it is. I'm not going to take this gear assembly apart because obviously I want to be able to use this thing. I don't want to damage it in any way. But this is here's the workings of it. Where's that motor made? Does it say on here? 1.8 degree per step. And what's in the bottom here? There's a little hatch on the bottom of this thing. What does this cover up? I wonder if we can pop that open and see what's in here. I might need a screwdriver to do that. Probably lose the cover in the process, but let's pop this open and see that this is for the light source. So here's our power for the light source down here in the bottom. And there's looks like there's a couple of light sources in here. Anyway, that's that. But, you know, this thing really looks to be solidly built. The only thing that they could have done that would make it better than it is if they had put a rewind motor on it. But, you know, it doesn't. I mean, the connectors here, they're all epoxied together and, you know, everything's all tight. Here's a stepper motor. This is obviously, it's probably got an optical sensor in here that determines how far it's stepped and stops it, right? So it's got a feedback loop here. But you know, all in all, I think this thing looks excellent. So for you guys out there that are critical and telling me this thing's a piece of junk, I beg to differ. It's not a piece of junk. It looks to be very well built, and I think that I'll get many years of service out of this thing. So I'm going to put it back together now because I have another film that I'm going to scan on it. And I maybe post this film. It's another film that my father-in-law shot, and he worked for a department store here in Canada called the Eaton's Company. And back in the 1960s, he made a film, a 400-footer, that showed the process that the store did to actually get the products that people would buy from catalogs, how they got put together and delivered to your door. And I think that maybe some people might like to see the quality of service that actually went into things back in the 1960s that you don't see today. Like, they would actually assemble your furniture for you. Today, you go to the store and you buy something, and it comes in a box, and you spend the evening or the day putting it together. And a lot of stuff has got just your plastic little tabs that, hold things together. Well, back in the 60s, everything was very well made, and it was put together by craftsmen. And this film that I've got shows the process that they went through from the time you placed the order until it was delivered to your door. And I think, besides the fact that it's going to show some of how the people worked back in the day, there's also some nice scenery of the Vancouver area back in the I think it was the early 1960s when he did this. So I'm going to scan that film tonight. 1968. So this is the film here. Even bought the film reel at Eaton's. So let's set the machine up. And I'm going to scan this. I'm just going to let it go because it's going to take all night. And we'll get this thing published tomorrow sometime, I would think. It's a sound film. I'm not going to scan the film because it's just got music playing in it. And it's the same song that they play over and over and over again. So I'm not going to put the music on at all from this thing. I'm just going to put the video or put the film through. So let's thread this thing up and we'll get it going. We start out by popping the SD card in. We'll turn the machine on. And we'll load up the reel. Load up the take-up spool. Let's thread the film up. I'm going to set my exposure and everything, and set my cropping and everything before I start. So I'm going to grab a frame here that's past the leader, just so that I can frame it up. So we'll get the film put in underneath the two little tabs here on the gate. That's important because if you don't frame it correctly, then it's not going to scan properly. So we got to make sure that the film is actually pushed in to the gate, properly under the gate, and then we close it. And then I'm going to hit the framing button here, so I hit menu, and I'm going to go down to where is it here? Frame adjust. Press, and then it's in Super 8 mode. Let's put it in the right mode here. Okay, you have to select your mode, right? Because it changes the width. And then, okay, now I can adjust it. So I want to make sure, I'm just going to go out of this mode for a minute here. And then go back into the mode. Okay. Frame adjust. Now I can adjust my framing here. So I adjust my horizontal centering first. So here's the right edge of the frame. We want to make, actually I'm going to start out, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to set this thing to the factory default to start with. So I'm going to go into menu, and I'm going to go down to, where is it here? Default settings. Yes, I want to return to default. And now that will now set my frame adjustment to the factory setting. Okay, now I can adjust my width, get it where I want it in the middle of the image. So I don't want to see the white edges here. And I'll press enter and I'll adjust the vertical height up and down, and then there's the width. Now the width you can adjust. You can either zoom it out, so if you want to see the full frame you could actually zoom it all the way out to see the full frame if you desired. I don't want to. I want to just overscan it just enough so that any dirt or anything that was caught around the frame on the camera will be covered up. I think we're okay here. I can go back and double check my centering and my up and down frame adjustment. I think we're okay about here. That looks okay. So I'm now going to save that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the gate and I'm just going to pull the film back to the beginning where the first frame starts here. We'll start it right on the first frame or two of film. Make sure that we're in behind the white tabs, because if we're not, it is going to jump. So here's the white tabs that I'm talking about. So these two white tabs down here, the film needs to be in behind them. So we just make sure that the film is slid underneath those white tabs and close the gate. It doesn't matter that we're not centered right now. If I go into frame adjustment, it will actually, whoops, I wasn't closed there properly. Make sure that we're under the tabs, latch the gate, and then we'll go back in. We'll go back into the framing mode. Looks good. Yeah, looks good. So now I'm going to thread the rest of the film. The reason that you thread it like this is because this is what reduces the torque so that it doesn't pull too hard on the film. If you don't do that, then what could happen is the torque from the take-up motor could cause the film to skip. So you have to make sure you're in there. I'm just going to thread the film into here to make sure that I'm in the take-up spool properly. Do it a couple turns manually and then put it back on the unit. Take up the slack. And make sure that the film reel is pushed on all the way. And we're ready to start capturing this film. So slack is taken up to start the capture. I just press the OK or the enter button, and then I press the enter button again and it starts capturing. And there we go. It is now capturing. I'm going to let this thing go. This is going to take for the rest of the night. It's 9 o'clock now when I'm starting this, but this probably won't be done until like 1 o'clock in the morning. But there it goes. And yes, it does look blue. That's the way it looks. The film was exposed with the wrong filter on. They didn't have the right filter for this particular film. So this particular shot does look really quite blue. But again, he had to, this is a double exposure because they had to do the titles and everything, right? How they did this was they shot the titles first, and then they rolled the film back in the camera, and then went out and shot the actual picture. So there you guys go. That's a look at the build quality of the Wolverine Movie Maker Pro. Say it's all nice metal construction. This thing here looks like a winner to me. The quality I've observed so far off of the film is excellent. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again in the next one real soon.